Most people believe genius is unbeatable. You look at a person with a sharper mind, a faster thinker, someone who seems to see solutions before anyone else even understands the problem, and you do something predictable. You step back. You assume the smartest person in the room will always win. But if history has proven anything, it is this: raw intelligence does not control the world. Strategic minds do. There have been countless brilliant thinkers who lost influence, lost opportunities, and lost power. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they misunderstood how the human mind actually works. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this better than most philosophers in history. He observed leaders, rivals, and opportunists, and what he discovered was unsettling. The people who quietly shaped outcomes were not always the most intelligent people in the room. They were the people who understood psychology, timing, perception, and emotional control. Here is the uncomfortable truth most people ignore. A genius who reacts emotionally can be manipulated, and a genius who reveals frustration can be predicted. This video is not about becoming a genius. It is about something far more dangerous. It is about rewiring how your brain operates. When your thinking changes, your reactions change, your decisions become sharper, and people start noticing something about you they cannot quite explain. Today, I am going to break down 8 powerful psychological rewiring techniques inspired by Machiavellian thinking that allow an ordinary mind to outmaneuver even the most brilliant thinker in the room. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments to lock in your mindset. Strategic mind activated. Let's get into it. Number 1. Build strategic awareness. Many people walk into a room already defeated. They see someone who speaks faster or explains ideas more elegantly, and they immediately assume they are outmatched. In that moment, they begin trying to prove they are intelligent. They speak more, they explain more, they argue harder. But highly intelligent individuals expect intellectual competition. That environment is comfortable for them. When you challenge them purely on intelligence, you step directly into their strongest territory. Strategic thinkers avoid that mistake. Instead of trying to outshine brilliance, they observe the entire situation from a higher angle, noticing dynamics others ignore like tone, timing, and emotional undercurrents. Intelligence solves problems, but awareness controls outcomes. While others concentrate on being correct, the strategic thinker is quietly studying how people are responding. When you stop chasing intellectual superiority, your mind becomes free to focus on what truly matters, understanding the structure of the interaction itself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Strategy over intelligence. Number 2. Think beyond the moment. Most people live inside the present second. A challenge appears and they react instinctively. Their mind operates like a reflex system, fast, emotional, and often careless. When you only think in the present moment, you are always playing catch-up because by the time you react, the situation has already moved forward. Strategic thinkers refuse to operate this way. While others are reacting to what just happened, they are already imagining what will happen next. Instead of searching for the perfect comeback to assert dominance, the strategic mind pauses internally and asks a deeper question. Where is this interaction going? Every statement creates a chain of reactions. When you begin thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, you stop becoming trapped inside the emotional pressure of the moment and begin steering the direction of the exchange. Fast thinkers react quickly. Strategic thinkers react deliberately because they have already examined the possible outcomes. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I think ahead. Number 3. Turn simplicity into authority. Many people assume intelligence must sound complicated. They believe that the more detailed their explanation is, the more impressive they will appear. So they build long arguments layered with complex language. But something strange happens inside the minds of the listeners. Confusion begins to grow, their attention drifts, and they just remember the feeling of mental exhaustion. Strategic thinkers understand a powerful truth that many brilliant minds overlook. Clarity creates influence. When a message is simple, it becomes memorable, and when people repeat your idea, it begins shaping the entire environment around you. A clear sentence can travel farther than a complicated explanation. When you compress your thoughts and speak with clarity, you demonstrate that you understand the subject deeply enough to express it without hiding behind complexity. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Clarity is power. Number 4. Use silence as a psychological tool. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. The moment a pause appears in a conversation, they rush to fill it by explaining more than necessary. That instinct quietly weakens their position because their words spill out before they have time to shape them, exposing uncertainty, impatience, or the desire to impress. Strategic thinkers recognize that silence is not empty. Silence creates pressure. When you resist the urge to speak immediately, the pause forces the other person to confront uncertainty. They begin wondering what you are thinking and start questioning whether they have said too much or too little. Imagine someone presenting an idea with confidence, and instead of reacting quickly, you remain still for a few seconds. The person who spoke begins to feel a slight tension building and will often reveal weaknesses or doubts that were not visible before. You did not ask for more information. Silence invited it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence creates power. Number 5. Read behavior, not promises. Most people make a critical mistake when judging others. They listen to words. Someone speaks confidently or makes impressive claims, and the average mind immediately begins forming trust. But strategic thinkers learn a very different rule. Words are flexible, behavior is consistent. Anyone can craft an explanation that sounds intelligent or describe intentions that make them appear capable. Machiavelli noticed that many individuals spoke about loyalty and discipline, yet when circumstances shifted, their actions told a completely different story. To understand a person accurately, you must watch patterns. Observe how someone handles pressure, how they react when they gain a small amount of influence, and how they treat people who cannot offer them immediate advantage. Once you see patterns clearly, predicting future behavior becomes much easier, and you stop being impressed by impressive language. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Actions reveal truth. Number 6. Control the rhythm of the interaction. Most conversations move at a pace that no one questions. Someone speaks, another responds instantly, the exchange accelerates, and soon everyone is reacting faster than they are thinking. In trying to keep up with the tempo, they sacrifice clarity. Whoever controls the rhythm of an interaction quietly controls the environment itself. Strategic thinkers introduce calm pacing. They listen fully before responding, allow small pauses between statements, and ensure their voice remains steady rather than hurried. When tension rises through rapid speech, a steady voice becomes a center of gravity. Others begin adjusting themselves around your rhythm. They slow down, become more attentive, and recognize that your responses carry weight because they are not delivered impulsively. This subtle control of tempo creates authority without needing to raise your voice. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control the pace. Number 7. Guard your mental energy. Most people spend their mental strength on things that bring no real return. They debate endlessly with people who are not interested in understanding and react to every criticism or unnecessary conflict. When that energy is wasted repeatedly, the ability to think clearly begins to weaken. Strategic minds understand that attention is a form of power. Instead of reacting to every stimulus, they become selective. They ask themselves a quiet question before engaging: is this worth my focus? If the answer is no, they simply step away. Protecting your mental energy allows you to stay sharp when an important decision appears, rather than feeling fatigued. Machiavelli observed that individuals who preserved their focus made the most decisive moves, while others were distracted by endless small disputes. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My focus is power. Number 8. Become unpredictable to the predictable mind. Highly intelligent people often rely on one powerful advantage: pattern recognition. They study behavior, analyze logic, and quickly learn how others usually respond. Most people make this very easy because they react the same way every time. Once someone becomes predictable, they become easy to outmaneuver. Strategic thinkers avoid falling into this trap. They remain consistent in their values, but their methods are flexible. When someone cannot predict how you will respond, their confidence begins to weaken, and the mental models they built to understand you start breaking down. Sometimes you answer immediately. Other times you pause and observe longer. Machiavelli often observed that individuals who could not be easily read were far more difficult to control. Unpredictability forces others to spend more mental energy trying to understand you, and that extra cognitive pressure is often enough to disrupt their clarity. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am unpredictable. Most people spend their lives chasing intelligence, believing that if they can become the smartest person in the room, they will naturally gain influence. But history has shown us something far more interesting. Many brilliant minds remained invisible, while others with quieter intelligence shaped decisions, guided outcomes, and influenced entire environments. The difference was never just knowledge, The difference was how the mind was trained to operate. When your mind becomes disciplined, your reactions become intentional, and your awareness expands beyond the surface, you begin operating on a different level. At that point, competing with intelligence becomes unnecessary because you're quietly understanding the entire structure of the game. And once you see the structure clearly, you stop trying to win every moment, and you start positioning yourself to win the outcome. If this video shifted something in the way you think, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who values strategic thinking. We don't just talk about motivation here. We study the architecture of power inside the mind. Now go out there and build the version of yourself the world isn't prepared for yet.